Shalom, shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabbat, Shem, Kadash, the honors to the apostles and the elders of JMS. They rule and teach well in the scriptures. Salutations to the Akim that are doing this work in truth and faith and in all sincerity. Today's lesson is basically going to be about a rant. Various topics, number one being the post Day of Atonement. And as we all know that, this Day of Atonement happened at the evening time of September 11th. Okay, which, at that time I had a dream. During that time I had a vision, so to speak. Before that happened, roughly about 8 hours before that happened, when I woke up, I seen everything on a TV screen. So with that being said, knowing that we're living in the last days of the last days, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is coming for the elect. Okay, and we, being the hopefully elect, want to be as spotless as possible, and knowing that we're still are going to have spots on us, but we want to be spiritually spotless. Okay, and basically take that for what it's worth. This is an article, something that happened 5 days ago about the things that are going on in Ukraine right now as we speak. And so with that being said, the war is still on. And no one is going to turn this war back. Okay, the only one that has power to turn this back is Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shai? Okay, Yahweh that gives the delegation of authority to Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai giving the delegation of authority to the 12 members, the 12 apostles, and the 12 apostles given to the rest of the 144,000. I'm sorry, I'm not going to break this fast unless this gets out. And so without further ado, let's continue.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's announced more U.S. aid for Ukraine days after a pair of Russian airstrikes killed at least 51 people in central Ukraine in one of the deadliest attacks since Russia launched its invasion in 2022. Austin spoke at the Ramstein Air Base in Germany earlier today.
And friends, this is a critical moment. Time is of the essence, especially with winter on its way. And we must all step up our support, and quickly. So I'm pleased to say that President Biden will announce today an additional $250 million security assistance package for Ukraine. It will surge more capabilities to meet Ukraine's evolving requirements, and will deliver them at the speed of war.
While in Germany, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin met with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who called on Western nations to send more arms to Ukraine.
At the same time as our advance in the Kursk region, the Russian army continues its offensive in Ukraine. The most capable units of the Russian army are involved in expanding the zone of occupation of our territory in the Donetsk region. This is a clear choice by Moscow. Putin wants more Ukraine to occupy than he wants security for Russia. He doesn't care about Russian land and people. He just wants to grab as much of our land and as many of our cities as possible.
Zelensky's comments come as Ukraine continues its
No, I'm sorry, let me interject for just one moment. You hear what these announcements are saying. If you have a spiritual eye, they're saying they're going to the speed of war. So the speed of war is to consume all territories as much as possible and as fast as possible. That's what the campaign is. This is what the speed of war is. 2, consume all territories.
Version into eastern Russia. We now go to the capital of Ukraine, to Kyiv, where we're joined by Arwa Damon. She's a former senior international correspondent at CNN, but she's now the founder of the humanitarian group Inara. She recently returned from Gaza, which we will talk about as well. But given that you're in Ukraine's capital right now, and you were just in Kharkiv, where on Sunday at least 47 people were injured when a Russian missile strike on a shopping mall and sports center took place, 7 children wounded. That attack occurring just, 2 days after another Russian strike on Kharkiv. Arwa Damon, if you can talk about the humanitarian situation in Ukraine right now and the places that you have visited.
Well, I actually went to the location of those strikes that happened in Kharkiv at the sports center. And, people are obviously very shaken up because they have not really experienced this level of intensity of bombing in quite some time now. And what it did was force us and a number of other organizations to cancel some of the activities that we had planned. There's obviously great wariness in terms of bringing groups of people, groups of children together, given that, Russia does tend to have a propensity to go after schools, hospitals, and other civilian targets. I met with a number of children that Inara does work with through our local partner in underground makeshift shelters. And I remember speaking to a little girl whose father was killed very early on in this war. And her grandmother was telling us about how still to date, and it's been, well over 2 years now, whenever she goes to her father's grave, she just throws herself on top of it and sobs and has to be dragged away. And when you speak to those who are, trying to help children in the mental health space, they talk about how this trauma is becoming deeply ingrained within the psyche, especially the psyche of the youngest. And it's becoming very difficult to try to actually build these programs that are needed to begin to help, children to try to move forward and address their trauma, because obviously, especially as we've been seeing, with these more recent strikes, the triggers are constantly still there. People are in a better position and situation than they were in when I was last in Ukraine just over a year ago. But there are still some, basic things that are needed, whether it's school supplies or different activities for children to be able to occupy themselves. It's also vastly different depending on which part of Ukraine that you're in. Kharkiv, for example, is accessible. The areas that are closer to the front lines obviously have much more significant and much more dire needs, ranging from, everything from hygiene products to food.
Arwa, I want to go to a short video you filmed when you were in Kharkiv.
All of the schools have basically turned their basements into makeshift shelters.
Софія.
Oh, hi, Sophia. How old are you?
Скільки тобі років? 7.
Her father was killed in the war.
So you've been working with a lot.
Now, pay attention. This is all Esau's madness. Okay, he's not about life. He's about death. Okay, this is his whole agenda. This is what he was created for. So he's in perfect, Esau Edom's in perfect order. He's doing exactly what it is that he's supposed to do, that he was ordained to do. The only one that's not in order, you fucking knuckleheads out there. Because if you really want to get out of here, you listen to the prophets, teachers, so on, etc. The ones that have the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And if you really want to get out of here, you listen to the prophets. And try your best just to do as commanded of you. This is not going to stop. This is going to get a lot worse. And Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is ready to pull a plug on this God-forsaken world, and Esau, Edom, and Babylon the Great, Sodom and Gomorrah and Egypt.
Is able to do on its own, although there are quite a few individual efforts that are happening. Of course, the great concern is that, if these traumas within children are not addressed early on, they can then, calcify, so to speak. And then you also have the trauma that parents are going through, especially mothers, because a lot of these families that we work with are right now single mother households. Fathers are either on the front line or...
You got to remember, we'll take it all the way back to the beginning. Okay. Let's skip the garden and take it back to Cain and Abel. And the sarcastic ass remark that he made, am I my brother's keeper? You most certainly are. It is your responsibility to take care of your brother.
They've stayed back, even in occupied territories to sort of keep control and keep...
He was a murderer from the beginning, and he abode not in the truth. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 26. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations, for the Lord of hosts, who hath purposed, and who shall disannul it. And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? Palestine. So Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has already started this onslaught with the destruction of this current age that we live in, this economic system, the oppression of Israel, unjust enrichment, and Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will start unaliving by the thousands. And so I'll close out there, giving all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem Rakah Kodash. So again, double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, rule and teach one scripture, salutations to all the Akim, all the brothers that are putting forth an effort so that we can make it out of here. Shalom.